Right. Still waiting. What days? At 8:05, we are going to race. We're going to qualifying. Anyway, we're going in to here in Brazil. So before we get underway, let's have a quick rundown onto the track. It is a 4.3 kilometer long circuit with 15 corners around the Autodromo José Carlos Pacé. The lap record is a 1:10.5, and this could be obviously beaten. 2 DRS zones, one at the entry of turn 15 till the exit of turn 1. The entry of turn 1 being a speed trap, and from the exit of turn 3 into the entry of turn 4. There's a lot of uphill and downhill sections, so there's going to be a lot of elevation change going around this circuit. Wait, no. And there's an Aston Martin making their way out of the garage. There's a Ferrari as well. There's so Aston Martin was Jojo, and the Ferrari was Kartoffel. As he makes his way onto the track. Next is a kick-salber of Marie and Leopold as well. Dusk, no, his teammate Ali making his way out on track. Mercedes of Kakarot out on track as well. Anyone else making their way out on track? Not yet. Here we go, Crazy making his way out on track, and the Haas of Dusk in front of him. But the Jojo is going to start his lap here in the Brazilian Grand Prix, here in qualifying. Where is he going to put this Aston Martin car as he runs down into turn 1? He's out of the DRS section, and as he cuts through the first chicane, down the hill, round the left-hander of turn 3, he's going to get that DRS once again. He's going to charge his way down the straight. He's got a Red Bull of Ali ahead of him, but he's going to make his way up the hill. He has to dodge a little bit. He has to dodge that the Red Bull. And as he dashes away into now the S section, he now goes into the left-hander of also a hairpin, and into the last corner of this double hairpin section, and he goes now back down the hill through the left-hander. He's going to finish Sector 2 with a 51.149, hits the apex at turn 13, and dashes and makes his way for the final DRS straight and to the start-finish line. The Aston Martin Jojo, around the final corner, he is going to set a 107.8, and that is an amazing lap. What about the Ferrari of Kartoffel? Around the final corner, it is looking quicker. He crosses the line. He actually goes 5 tenths slower. The V-Carb of Marie goes up into P2. Just ever so quicker. 400th to be exact. And who's next to cross the line? Ali goes P4. There's a Mercedes of Kakarot. He's going to cross the line, go P5. There's another driver behind him who I think got invalidated actually. But next is the Ferrari of Leopold. Leopold on an invalidated lap time, but there's the Haas of Dusk charging his way through, on board with the Haas driver. He's going to cross the line, goes P4, a 1:08.7. 8 tenths behind the Aston Martin. But speaking of the Aston Martin, his teammate starts his lap time. Crazy goes up into P2. Marco goes on provisional pole. 22 thousandths ahead of the Aston Martin. And the Williams, who I've actually seen before in the BP Racing League, who literally won earlier today, is put himself on provisional pole, while there's yellow flags also at the second DRS straight. Skilled goes up into P10, and then next up will be the Haas of Ali, who does not put a lap on that board. But Flat crosses the line, goes P11. The car behind him is a Mercedes, who has already put a lap on the board. That's Kokorot. Next is Hefstaff. Hefstaff goes to the fourth. Leopold goes on provisional pole. A 107.773. And the top three is all less than a tenth apart. But what about Eunice? Eunice up the hill, crosses the line, goes P10. The Haas of Dusk behind, not doing anything to the table. As the McLaren jumps up to P9, Micromash goes up there and hopefully can improve. Currently 7 tenths behind the fastest lap. Marley crosses the line, improves up into P6, and that is going to settle it for this first pass of qualifying. Now we all know, before we get into that boring part, as Ali jumps up into P11 from P12, and also goes into the gravel. And who's next across the line? It's Leopold, who will be going to the pits any moment. Followed by Hefstaff. Actually, no, Hefstaff, will he go on another run? There's a Haas behind, I think. 2/10 improvement, which puts him ahead of the McLaren of Micromash. And next across the line will be actually Micromash, but he won't improve on his lap time. He's 6.6 seconds down. There's now an Aston Martin of Eunice. Eunice crossed the line, 19 seconds off. Next across the line is Marley. Marley also not on a proper lap. He's going to the pit lane. But the Ferrari zooms past, and Kartoffel restarts that lap time. There's another Haas making their way, going into the pits. The Mercedes of Kokorot also going into the pits. His team, Flat, he's going to go up the hill to restart that lap time. And next up is W12 as he makes his way. So the only driver to not set a lap yet is now out on track, setting his first lap, going down into turn 1. He stays wide of the apex and cuts in for the second apex. Around the left-hander. Make sure he's close to that curb so he doesn't go as wide and invade track limits. But he's now weaving, and he has actually given up on the lap. Micromash made his way up into P6. And looking around, Kartoffel, 3 tenths down at the moment, dives into the pits. The Aston Martin of Eunice stays where he is. And what about Flat? He's a 10th down. Can he make that time up here in Sector 3? As he comes up the hill, he's going to hold it into turn 14. He's got the DRS into turn 15 now. The Williams will cross the line. Will he improve? He does, ever so slightly, and does not improve his position. And what about W12? W12, not a proper lap, but he crosses the line. He will be P16 at a 1:12.020. Followed by Hefferstaff, who goes into the pits. Skilled Cloud, or more rather his teammate, the Alpine of Crazy, starting his lap down in P8. Ali Hayder starting his lap. Can he improve his position, maybe even beat his teammate? Flats, he's going to go into the pits more likely, and he does exactly that. But speaking of Flat, his teammate Marco making his way down the straight, starting his lap. And so does Marley. What about W12? 3 seconds up at the moment. Goes P14. 1.2 behind Leopold. Next across the line will be Crazy. Can he improve his position? P8 at the moment. Jumps up to P5 at 108.059. And next up is Ali, who's going into the pits, actually. The Haas starting his lap. Same with Kartoffel shortly behind. The Aston Martin of Jojo. He's currently invalidated. The Alpine of Skilled Cloud stays P15, but does improve his lap time. Looking around, there's a Williams and Marco. Marco goes back on provisional pole at 107.743, 29 thousandths quicker than the Ferrari. And that is something he definitely wanted to hear. Next across the line will be Crazy, but he's not on the proper lap. He's definitely going to go into the pits. But next across the line will be Dusk. Will he beat Kartoffel, who is actually right behind him, as Dusk rounds the final corner? Kartoffel closely behind. Dusk stays where he is, and Kartoffel jumps up into P7. And the Ferraris are having, comparably, not the worst, but not the best qualifying. I would argue Red Bull's qualifying is a bit better. Although Leopold is in P2, the two Red Bulls have got good strategic positions. Kakarot starting his lap. Can he improve his position to P12 and maybe jump up into the top 10? I mean, it is a 4/10 gap. He needs to make basically a 4/10 gap. It's 3/10, 9 and 99 thousandths. But can he make that time in this next lap? I mean, in sector 1, he is a 10th up. So at the moment, can he improve anything on that? Has just crossed the line. That is Ali, who actually improved his lap time, but not his position. Next is Ali's teammate, Dusk, currently going slowly. And also Ali Hader making his way down to restart his lap time as Kartoffel stays out on track. I mean, let's see who's got the most tyre usage. So at the moment, Kartoffel's on 2 lap-old tyres, same with Skilled. I mean, Skilled is in the pits anyway. But the Mercedes of Kakarot is going to cross line. He's 3/10 up. Gets into the top 10, and the Mercedes gets a person into the top 10, 6/10 behind Marco, and that is a very big benefit for the team. But Ali can do something about it. Currently 2/10 down. Can he improve on that, however? Into this sector 3, up the hill. He's going to cross the line, stays where he is, a 10th down. W12 starting his lap. Can he match his teammates' pace and improve his position as well, maybe into P11, and this could improve Mercedes' grid pair positions and obviously possibly even race positions, but that's most likely unlikely. But the Kartoffel stays P7, just ever so slightly slower than his actual lap time. The Aston Martin of Eunice into P12, and Leopold goes slower by 4/10. Now that is somewhat unexpected. Somebody who was definitely charging when I was steaming his way through when I was looking on the map, and only 4/10, being 4/10 down, is not very good. I mean, most drivers know this. I mean, you can't be 5 for pole position and be in a place where, if it weren't for that lap, if that lap that you just performed was his best lap, he would be like 8th. So he needs to really switch up his aero, maybe his downforce. But W12 up the hill he goes, crosses the line. He's a second off. He's not got a good lap there. The Haas of Ali 12 seconds down. He's not got a lap on the board. That improves the overall Haas position. Eunice currently going slowly, most likely going into the pit lane. We have 3 minutes left on the clock of this qualifying session, and there is a Williams guiding its way through, currently at the bottom, not got an actual proper lap in yet, currently 3 seconds off Marco, who's actually his teammate. So at the moment everyone is in a Williams sandwich. Like, the entire pack has just been smushed to make the Williams sandwich. And at the moment, Flat really needs some sort of fix to this lap time. But what about Skilled Cloud? He's also making his way up the hill. Can he improve his position and maybe match his teammate Crazy to get into P5? But it's still unknown. The Mercedes of W12, 3 tenths up at the moment. Can he beat Ali at least? Crosses the line, does beat Ali by 6 thousandths of a second. No, 8 thousandths of a second, sorry. And goes up into P13. They're picking up just so ever so small scraps of what they can make, and they make as much positions as possible. Next across the line is Dusk, who also starts his lap. The Haas and the Mercedes are really fighting for positions here, as every Haas has one Mercedes, at least a Mercedes has a Mercedes in front of them, and it is less than a tenth between them. As we have 1 minute 38 left of the session, there's yellow flags around the circuit, but the next person to cross the line is Eunice. Not on a proper lap, however. But what about Flat? He's not on a proper lap either. He's 4 seconds down. But what about Skilled Cloud? He's currently a second down. He needs a miracle to gain any time, ever so slightly. Kokorot goes up by 4 tenths, apparently. But he actually doesn't. As everyone is now out on track, nobody is in the pits. They all want to set that lap that they strategically need in this qualifying session. People are starting their lap. They are currently on out laps. 2 drivers have gone into the pits, and them being Ali and W12. So they can either stay where they are or be in a worse position. As Eunice jumps up into P10, knocking Kokorot out of the top 10 and making it 11-13 for Mercedes and a 12-14 for Haas at the moment. Now this battle for pole will be legendary. Flat improves massively on his time, but does not get anywhere, which is very sad for the Williams party, as Marco has invalidated, but was improving. If he crossed the line now, he would have improved, but the kick elbow of Marley stays where he is. What about Ali Haider? Around down into the final corner. He holds onto the apex. There's a 5-place grid penalty for Leopold, meaning wherever he starts, it doesn't matter. Ali Haider jumps up into P5. Heatherstaff goes on provisional pole. Jojo jumps up into P3. And next across the line is Kartoffel up the hill into P5. What about the Aston Martin of Eunice? He stays where he is, 1.4 seconds off his actual quickest lap time. Micromash doesn't improve and stays where he is. What about Kokorot? He's actually invalidated. And finally, we have Leopold. But it's going to be pole for Hefferstaff, as Skilled Cloud and DJ Flat are going slowly. It is pole position for Hefferstaff out of all of this. Leopold, the entire top four is within a second, and if it weren't for Marco invalidating, it would have been a pole position for Marco. But Heatherstaff escapes from that Williams sandwich that smushed everyone. And now it's all over. Leopold's retired and left the session. So it's Heatherstaff on pole, Marco in second, Jojo in third, and because of the 5-place grid penalty Leopold has, it's actually Kartoffel fourth, Ali Hayder fifth, Crazy sixth, Micromash seventh, Marley eighth, then it's Leopold in ninth, Eunice 10th, Cockroach 11th, Dusk 12th, W12 13th, Ali in 14th, Skilled Cloud in 15th, and Flat in P16. And now we are ready for the main event, for the main race. Who will be victorious? Who will make that run down into turn one immaculate for them and take the lead of this Grand Prix? Sunny skies, looks like there's not going to be any rain, to be honest. Leopold's rejoined. As we now wait. We'll get to the race eventually. We'll have to restart. So we are restarting. So as we wait, I'll be back. I have returned, and the invites are out. So I came in at the perfect timing. as we now wait for the race to get finally underway. Here we go. 3, 4, 5 red lights. And it is lights out, and away we go. It's a good start for Marco. Actually, Heatherstaff has got an amazing start. Down into turn 1. Jojo trying to go around the outside of Marco. Going down into turn 2. It's neck and neck here at the front. But looking at the back, somebody's dropping back massively. And that's, I believe, DJ Flat. But down the straight now, into turn 4. Marco looking to make moves. On board with the Williams driver. Can he chase down Heatherstaff to an extent to make a move closely in the short period of time that he may have until the Red Bull can run away? But around they go into the next couple of corners. Marco still trying to have a say in this fight for P1 as Heatherstaff is slowly pulling away in his Red Bull, and Jojo is getting ever so closer, but Marco is catching up exponentially. The gap is now 3 tenths, 2 tenths, and going down into turn 1, it is 1 tenth. As around they go into turn 2, DRS is now enabled. And as they go around the left hand of turn 3, Jojo is right on the behind of Marco. Marco's got the DRS, but so does Jojo, who's got the better run down into turn 4. Marco does, and Heatherstaff is now being pulled into this DRS train. As there's also debris flying. This fight for P1 is between 4 drivers, and as they circle around the left-hander, dashing into the only hairpin they have now left on this lap. Marley trying to go around the outside of Ali Hayder, going down into turn 13 now. They're going to cross the DRS detection point, and there's a bit of big snap from Ali, and around the long left-hander, but it's being constructed into 2 corners now. Into turn 15, Marco's gone past Heatherstaff, but Jojo also wants to have a say in it. It's around the outside into turn 1. It's a good try, but stays behind Heatherstaff. Now Heatherstaff will have the DRS on the Williams and Marco. Marco being chased down by the Red Bull, and Marco keeps the gap to the somewhat extent that it was before the DRS zone. And there's a big lock-up from Heatherstaff, and Jojo's right on the rear of the Red Bull as they go down into turn 11, dashing into the left-hander of turn 12. I think Marco needs to pull some sort of gap, or at least a comfortable one, if he wants to keep ahead of the Red Bull. Up the hill now, DRS is wide open, flashing lights from the rear end of the cars. Now Jojo really wants to catch up to Heatherstaff, and he really needs to get points in this championship. It's still early days, so anyone can still win it. And as they circle through turn 14, can Jojo close the gap enough to make at least ascend into turn 1? And look how quickly Jojo's going. Can he make a double move? Going down the inside on Marco. Here in turn 1, around the outside. Can he do it this time into the left-hander? Yes, he can. The Aston Martin gets ahead. And Heatherstaff wants to get past as well. And around they go. W12 is retired in the pit lane, and the fight for P1 is getting heated here. So Marco's dropped down to P3, and he really needs to make something back if he wants any more positions. By the way, if you want to subscribe to the actual Switchback Racing League YouTube, the link is in the description. And you can go there. They've got highlights and some stuff about this league and the races. And let's now go back focusing into this race. And Leopold is chasing down the Williams of Marco. Can he dash around the outside? No, he can't. Marco closes the door. Leopold's still looking. Can he get moved quickly and get into the podium places? And Marco to drop even further down the order, from being in the lead for a couple of laps, now having massive possibilities of dropping even further down, maybe into P4, P5, maybe even P6. Let's go on board with Ali. Can he catch up to Micromash and make it a boat to make both Red Bulls into the top 5? Around turn 15 and down into turn 1. Ali Hayden needs to get all he can to overtake Micromash and get stuck in to this fight for the podium, but the gap is getting more massive. But looking further up the grid, Heatherstaff side by side with Jojo. No contact, no even response from Jojo. He just lets Heatherstaff slither through into P1, and Marco and Leopold side by side going down into turn 5. And what is going on? Marco stays ahead on board with the Ferrari driver. We can see how much Marco is trying to defend, but he's struggling under pressure. And now into the hairpin of turn 11 and dashing into turn 12. Yellow flags in sector 2. There's a spin from Eunice. However, we need to refocus back into this fight for P1. The entire top 8 is not even 5/10, at least apart from the driver ahead of you. I mean, Leopold to Marco is now. I mean, now they still have the DRS. The DRS strain is still there, and Jojo gets past Marco. Can he also get past Heatherstaff? Heatherstaff on the inside line, but into turn 2, he has the outside line. But that another inside line will definitely gain him some ground, as Marco is still keeping it there. He keeps it there and is going to get past Heatherstaff, unless into turn 4. They've been side by side since turn 1, and also Marco's been pushed wide. He's dropped down to P4, and also Micromash raring to make a move around the outside. Marco is going to send it down the inside into turn 7. He locks up, more importantly, but he's trying to dash around the outside. No, he can't. He is out of the podium places, but after being pushed by Heatherstaff off the circuit. Marco making his way down the straight. Can he make a send on Leopold? I mean, it's better late than ever, but he still sticks behind him. And Hefferstaff also has the DRS on Jojo. Jojo is not running away anywhere, according to Hefferstaff. But also Leopold is saying the same thing, and Dusk has retired in the pit lane. Another retirement in the pit lane. Now we only have 15 drivers remaining. Bit of dust kicks up from Hefferstaff's rear. Down into the straight, down into turn one. They are currently being a single file line, no one making any raring moves. The top 8 is still a massive DRS train. And down the straight now, maybe some moves will be made now. Leopold chasing down the Red Bull, down into turn one. He tries to make a switch back, he can't. But what about Marco? He has a lockup, but he's still chasing down the Ferrari and making their way down the DRS straight now. Leopold is chasing down the Red Bull, but the Red Bull's chasing down Jojo, and Jojo, after having a second gap, has now been dwindled to a 2/10, 3/10 gap. And Leopold also shortly behind. And down into turn one. Can Hefferstaff make a send? Yes, he can. And he gets back up to P1. But a massive mistake. There's contact between the two. I think Jojo's lost the front. No, he hasn't lost the end plate. As Leopold charging his way down the straight. Can he get past the Aston Martin? No, he can't. He sticks behind him, however. And Hefferstaff is now pushed, has made contact with two drivers that he's been fighting with for positions. He's made contact with Marco, pushing him off the track, and now contact with Jojo. I mean, imagine if a safety car just gets called in right now. People are already going to the pits. That's Ali Hayder, Hefferstaff's teammate. Jojo's gone past Hefferstaff. Now, can Heatherstaff have a response to it, however? Down the straight, DRS flap open, and as he charges towards the Aston Martin, Heatherstaff still can't pull a move. Leopold also trying to get past. And can he go around the outside here into turn 6? Cutting down into turn 7, it is still a literal single file line. I mean, Leopold keeps on trying to look for moves, but he just can't. He can't find them yet. As 3-second penalties being dished out. No one at the front going into the pits just yet. I mean, there is someone there. That was crazy. And Leopold trying to send it on Heatherstaff. He can't. Heatherstaff kind of outbreaks himself. And here comes Marco trying to cut in down the inside. But he can't make it count. Now Micromash is looking to have a go. But also Leopold's looking to have a go for the silver medal here for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Down the inside. He has to back out. And here comes Marco. He gets pushed wide a little bit. But he's still looking, he's daring to make the move. Down into turn 6, sends it down the inside. It's a great move, it's a late move, but he still makes it work. Micromash getting around the outside of Leopold. Even though Leopold has the DRS, here comes Mari as well. Down the inside into turn 1. They're going into turn 2. It's once again a single file queue that we've already seen multiple times. Nothing much going on, and our driver's still going to go into the pits. No, not just yet. Now down the straight, Heatherstaff is ready. He's got the slipstream. He's got the DRS. He's got everything he needs to make the send into turn 4, but he can't. The ground he makes is not enough, and he only caught up by a couple hundredths. And as they make their way down into turn 6, it's currently starting to Heatherstaff to look like he's going to make a send eventually, but he just doesn't. He can't calculate the time to do it. Or for when to do it. "21 laps left of this Grand Prix. It's already 9, so that's something. Can Heatherstaff make a move this time? Leopold's in the pits. And Heatherstaff is actually getting under threat from Marco. And as Marco makes his way through turn 3, he is chasing down that Red Bull, and the Red Bull's chasing down that Aston Martin, but the Williams is the daring to make the move, but Heatherstaff cuts him off, and into turn 4, the gap and the entire top 3 stays the same, but Marco is eager, he's eager to make moves, and he really wants to get past his kind of arch nemesis here, they keep on making contact with each other, or controversial incidents. And as they make their way back up the hill and into turn 10, sorry, and round into turn 11, the left-hander is still, like, no one's daring to make moves. I mean, Marco's looked at it a couple of times, but no one's actually executed it unless it's a DRS zone. And this could be the moment where it's a DRS zone and around the outside, and Heatherstaff is in the pits. So is Jojo. Marco takes the lead of the Grand Prix, and Jojo has a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And that is costly for the Aston Martin. Basically puts him out of the race. Unless he does a Verstappen. And the Kicksabers have found themselves into a 3 and 4 position. Sifakis didn't even go through quali, and it's a virtual safety car. Back to what I was saying, Sifakis didn't go through qualifying, meaning he had to start from 17th, and has clawed his way all the way into P4, somewhat catching up to the leaders. And this virtual safety car can even make him close up even more. And this is the time where these guys could go into the pits. And here Marco goes. He dashes to the pits. Michael Bash behind. Marley. Now, what about Sifakis? Now, there's probably going to be a risk. There's not going to be a double stack, most likely. Heatherstaff has left the session. Don't know why. Must be a disconnection. But Marco, after all of this, has come out into P3 and far ahead of Heatherstaff and Jojo. He's in P3, Jojo's in P7, and Heatherstaff's in P8. And Skilled Cloud is in the lead. Jojo has a drive-through penalty. Jojo has retired from the session. And Skilled Cloud has made his way into the lead. Something, again, rather unexpected. Jojo has pulled himself out of the race after 2 unlucky penalties. I mean, let's look at who's pitted and who hasn't. So, Skilled Cloud is the only driver to have not pit, and he's currently in the lead. So, at the moment, Ali Hayder's in the lead. I mean, Marco's actually in the lead with penalties, but on track, it's still a Red Bull in the lead. Skill Clouds now is in the pits, leaving a scrap for P1, just like we've had for this basically this entire time. And Marley's got a 3-second penalty. But Marco has pulled to the right and is dashing around the outside into turn 4. They're still side by side, and Marco, has he taken the lead? They're still neck and neck, but a mistake from Ali puts Marco into P1, and he's basically where he was in the virtual safety car. As chaos is ensuing further behind as Marley gets past Micromash. There's contact between the two, but the Kick Sauber gets ahead. Sifakis Marie's teammate sets the fastest lap, and Micromash gets back up into P4. And a lot of things just happen at once at the moment. But anyway, down the straight. And Crazy, down the inside into turn 4, has got past the Red Bull. And we have 14 laps left of this Grand Prix. And Marco is running away. He is out of the DRS range, but Crazy pulls himself back in. They're jumping in and out. Kartoffel leaves the session, but Ali, making his way, has gotten up into P2, and down the straight, Micromash is going to have another go at getting back up into P2, where that McLaren could belong. And as they circle around into turn 6, Marco is just building on that gap and could win 2 league races in one day. He won in BP earlier today, and he could win it today here in now he could win it tonight here in Switchback. Micromash gets past Ali, and this was really expected going down into this DRS straight. Now, can Ali pull up in response? That is still unknown. But Leopold keeps on leaving and joining. But anyway, Marley pulling to the left. Can he make a move into turn 4? No, he can't. But what about the follow-up? No, Ali is too quick, gets a better exit, and now these cars are being really spaced out, and unless these two crash, this is our only chance of action at the moment. Unless a safety car comes up. And there's a good send from Marley. Now can Ali have a response? No, Marley gets a way better exit and gets back, well, gets ahead into P3. And now can Crazy get past as well? It's a DNF from Kartoffel. Now, no safety car. Neither a VSC. Marley going to go to the right and gets past Micro Mash. And Heatherstaff is back, and he has got a massive mountain to climb. Micromash gets back past Marley, but I mean Marley's got the pre-sec penalty, so he would have been ahead anyway. Amazing. Oh, for God's sake. My battery's had a dead moment. Marley gets past Micromash, but can Micromash have a response to this? Most likely, but it's still unknown. It's lap 33 out of 36, 4 laps remaining. It's looking quite obvious that Marco's won this Grand Prix and may even lap somebody. As also, speaking of Marley, his teammate Sifakis is joined this pack for the fight for P2. At the moment, Micromash is winning it on because of penalties. But can Sifakis slither his way through the Red Bull and the Alpine and get past the McLaren, making it a 2 and 3 for Kick Sauber? I mean, at the moment it's a 3-4. And Micromash gets back past Marley, and Sifakis keeps on looking to make some moves on Crazy, but he still can't. He can't pull one yet, and he needs to make one die in a dire fashion, because he's only got 3 laps left of this Grand Prix. and needs to pick up all the track positions he can get if he wants to get past Micro Mash. I mean, Micro Mash can spin, and there's always that possibility, but there's always that possibility that he spins. So any mistake can be really costly here, as we actually now have basically 2 laps left of this Grand Prix. We're going to the penultimate lap now, as blue flags are being waved for Eunice, as Marco is fast approaching the Aston Martin driver. But anyway, actually, Micro Mash has made a massive mistake. He's dropped down into P4, and I've kind of jinxed him. As now they go down the straight, I've actually jinxed a Micro Mash here a little bit. And he's dropped down all the way to P4. He still has that second place, but he doesn't have it on track. And Flash has a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I mean, can Marley get past Ali Hayder? And he tries to send, he tries to look to see the move, but he can't. And blue flags are now being waved for Eunice. Can this hold up some of these drivers? You never know. And as they go down into the final corner, Micro Mash gets back past Marley and now back past Ali Hayder. No! Ali Hayder defends. Marley around the outside. There's contact between the two. And this is really, really close. As also Crazy's looking to make a move. And there's definitely going to be some crashing here. And Marco has most certainly have won this Grand Prix. As Sifakis has gone past Crazy, but is it too soon? Is it too late? He needs Micro Mash to spin. I think that's what will give Kick-Sauber such a better result to what they have at the moment. I mean, looking at penalties, Ali Hayder needs to somehow get a penalty in this next, 3 corners? But let's really quickly give our focus to one man, and that is Marco. Around the final corner, he wins in Brazil, and he is victorious here in the Switchback Racing League. But who will get second on track as they go around the final corner? Look at them piling on, and it will be Micro Mash, followed by Sifakis, Ali, Marley, Crazy. Leopold making his way down into the final corner, followed by what will be Skilled, followed by Hefferstaff, then Cockeriot, Flat, Ali, then Flat, then finally Eunice in last place. But it's Marco who wins the Brazilian Grand Prix. He won in Japan in the BP Racing League literally a couple hours earlier, and now wins in Brazil tonight. At night. It's at currently 10:30 in his time. And Flash has another 10-second penalty. He still will get 12th, but he actually takes the fastest lap. And he was only 96 thousandths off Ali. So if Ali spinned or made any mistake, it would have been over. And it's a victory for Marco. And it's victory for Williams. Sifakis is the driver of the day. And this has been such a great race. And we will see you next time for the... I think this will be my last until I have... until after the summer holidays. So, we'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your evening. And goodbye.